Yes? Yes? Can I help you? Yes, Frankie Beans? Frankie? Yes, what can I do for you? What can I do for you? Oh, and here comes the jealous boy, thinking that there's food involved. Should we check your bowl? Should we check your bowl? Good morning, everybody. Yes, I am. It's true. I'm in my nightie. Still in my nightie. I'm just keeping it real. I don't get dressed until my work is done in the house and in the kitchen. I've got a lot going on today, so I thought I might just take you around with me and show you what I usually do in a day. Probably the whole video will be of me in my nightgown, so don't be shocked. I'm just keeping it real. Anyway, I have, I don't know if you see the, oh, pardon my dishwasher. I have sourdough bread that I put on to rise last night, so I need to put that in a pan, in some bread pans, and get that going today because we are out of bread, and Mr. Tiny Retirement likes his morning sourdough toast. So I have to do that, and that is from starter that I made myself from scratch. No yeast, just from the yeast, the wild yeast in the air. And I did that because I don't know if you guys have noticed, but it's pretty hard to find any decent amount of yeast in the stores, even now, even though all of the crisis and all of that mess is over. Well, kind of over. You know what I'm saying. So I got thinking, you know, this is a good skill to have. Making sourdough starter is something I never mastered. So I'm going to do that. I did that. And it rose. It rose. It works. I'm so happy. Maybe I'll do a video on it sometime and show you how I do it. Because there were some tricks and some learning curves. I started over, at least 3 times. The first time it was a mess. So, yeah. So maybe I'll do a video on that. The other thing is, yeah, we are out of milk and we do, you know, it's just us. We're not picky about the kind of milk we drink. So I have powdered milk always, cases of it in my pantry. We don't mind doing that way. You know, we are a little homestead, but we don't have the milking animals. We don't want to go that route because we're retired. We want fun. So that kind of livestock, you know, the big things, goats, as much as I would love to have goats. I would love to have goats. But I don't want to get into the schedule. Sorry, there goes the dishwasher again. But we didn't want to get into the, you know, the big animals on a homestead. Chickens are enough. The chickens that are too old to lay eggs. So yes, we actually even have to buy eggs because the freeloader chickens are too old to lay eggs. We get the occasional one, but anyway. So that's why we don't really, you know, we don't have, you know, these nice endless sources of milk. But it's just a tiny homestead of 2, so we're good. We're good that way. The other thing is I need to make Mr. Tiny Retirement some yogurt. So that's really what I'm going to show you guys today is how I make yogurt. It's so much better and better for you, I think, than the yogurt you get in the stores. Because if you ever, have you looked at some of the ingredients in there? The stabilizers, the you don't need stabilizers in yogurt. It's fermented. it'll last for a long time in your refrigerator. And it'll just get tangier and more delicious and more beneficial. So I learned how to make it, and that's what Mitch has in his cereal every morning. He put, instead of milk, he puts yogurt in there. So it's good for him. It's easy to make. So that's what we're doing today. So I need to finish up this stuff and clean out my kitchen surface, and maybe even give you guys a better angle of my kitchen, because my kitchen's only this big. It literally is. Right here, okay? Right here is the countertop that you're sitting on, and right here, this container is on the edge. So you can see, I can't even take a step back. I can do this, and I can do this. But it works. I don't need to go any further. So anyway, hang on. I'm going to be back. I might get dressed. I don't know. We'll see. Hey guys, welcome back. You can see I got dressed. Well, I went outside. I had to get dressed because I went outside and fed my tomatoes. And I don't know if you have ever dealt with tomato fertilizer, you know, the tomato food. It does not smell very good. And I got it on myself. So, okay, so anyway, here we go. We're about to make some yogurt. What I have here is, you have to heat the milk. So I have that. I have my, I don't know if you can see it right now, my Cuisinart burner. I have my yogurt container. It's just the two of us. When we had kids in the house and when we have company, I use a big, instead of this to, what do you call it, inoculate? To become yogurt. It keeps it at a nice warm temperature, the perfect temperature to do yogurt. But if I was doing a bigger batch, I would get my turkey roaster out and pour it all into mason jars. And I have a big thing where I heat my milk and everything. But for now, it's just Mitch and me. I just use this. Measure my milk. I've got my spatula. Can you tell I'm from Maine? Spatula to mix when it gets to, gets to the point where we mix our starter. I have my starter from my last batch. You always have to have yogurt starter. You can either buy it. I don't. I go buy just. Can you see this peeking in the window here? Anyway, I forgot where I was. My handsome husband just distracted me. Anyway, I just go and buy a cup of yogurt. And when I started all of this particular starter, I don't even remember when the very first original batch was. But I don't know if you can see how nice and thick that is. So, starter. I have my spoon to keep moving my milk in the pot. I have my thermometer because precision is key when you're talking about yogurt. The cultures and the bacteria need to hit a certain temperature. They need to hit 180 degrees, and the reason for that is to kill the competing bacteria. You want to keep the good bacteria, but you don't want to keep the bad bacteria. So you need to eliminate that. I guess it's kind of like pasteurizing it. So that's what we need to do. If you want a thicker yogurt, and which we like, you keep it at that 180 degree temperature for about 20 minutes. If you want a thinner yogurt, Mitch puts it in his cereal, so he's okay with thinner. Just keep it at that 180 degrees for 10 minutes. I've known some folks who don't even do that. They hit the temperature and off they go. So there's that. And what do I have here? Oh, I have my little spoonula, to get this up. And that is it. That is all you need. I do have this handy dandy little yogurt maker. Here, this is it's sort of like a coddler. I don't know what else you'd call it. Can you see my husband? Did we just get him bollocky bare naked in the pool? What guy bare naked going in the pool? We do chunky dunking around here, especially when he's been out working hard. He gets out there and just pay no attention to him. If there was anything bad, I'll blur it out. Anyway, so yeah, and here's the other thing. I like whole milk. We have a lot of farms around here, so often I can get nice fresh whole milk. I would use my powdered milk, except that is fat-free. You know, that's basically skim milk. It's pretty good to drink straight, but if you're gonna do yogurt, I really want that fat and the whole milk in there. I have this because we had company. We had a grandchild here. That's all she drank. She doesn't like the powdered milk. And because it's skim, I like giving her the calories so that she has, you know, it's a Grammy thing. I want her belly and tummy to feel nice and full and yummy, and the whole milk does that. So I have this left over, so I'm not going to waste it. I'm going to use this for yogurt instead of going to a farm and getting my whole milk, my raw milk. So here we go. Here's what I do. I measure. Oops, you can't see. You can't see. What am I doing recording if you can't even see? All right, so here's what I do. And I do a little bit less because if you fill the milk all the way to the top, you're going to be putting this in and you're going to have a spillover issue and make a mess. And I don't know about you, but if I make a mess and if something's not easy, I won't do it again. So there's that. I still have milk left. Yeah. So we'll put that away. Now, here's what I do. How easy is this? Anything hard so far? No. Now in here, there's a little line in here to fill with water, and it's like that much water. And when you put your yogurt thing, the water, I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not. I don't know if you can see that. Probably not. But anyway, the water comes right up to the top. Let's see how my bread is going. Oops. I forgot to score my bread. Oh my good heavens. All right, so I'm going to turn this up. Oh, I have to put my thermometer in. Now this is, ooh, it's broken. Sorry, it'll still work. It's just a candy thermometer, but you can use any thermometer that is meant for this kind of thing. There are special dairy thermometers, but so long as it goes up to at least 180 and down to 110, because that'll be the temperature that you need to cool it down to. So I've got it turned on, and now I have to wash my hands. I'm looking every time. Okay, so rather than have you guys, wait here while this, literally watching milk boil, watching a liquid boil, we'll be back when this hits the temperature, and then I'll show you where we go from there. Okay? Don't go anywhere. Okay guys, we're back. This has hit 180 degrees, and I have left it I've left it for about 15 minutes, mainly because I'm tired of waiting. So pay no attention to the dirty dish. Mitch was just in here having his lunch, which consisted of fried zucchini out of the garden. Okay, so what I've done is now we need to cool it down. We've gotten it up so that there's no more competing bacteria. I have cooked it for as long as I want to, or kept it at that temperature. Now we need to cool it down. You can either just let it sit if you want to. I don't have the patience. So what I've done is I have filled my sink with very cold water. And I am putting it in here. And what I'm going to do now is I am just going to keep an eye on my thermometer. I'm going to keep the cold water flowing around it so that, if you just leave it in here, the water around your pot is going to get warm and it won't be as effective. So I just keep doing this every now and again. Give it a stir here and there to make sure that it's all stays an even temperature, and keep an eye on my thermometer. Oops, I have to clean the milk gunk off. That's actually a term, milk gunk. So when this gets down to 110 degrees, that is the optimum temperature for the yogurt cultures to be absorbed and activated by the bacteria, the good bacteria. It's all about gut flora. We are there. You want to be careful. I rinse this off right away because if you know anything about dried milk, it's like glue. But this thermometer is hot, so don't put it in cold water or you will break your thermometer. I know, I've done it. Rinse, and then I'll wash it later. Okie doke. Now, I don't know if you can see this or not. I think you can. You can see that this was kind of runny from before the last batch. Oh, yum. Now the thing is, you can't rush the yogurt. Gentle, easy. You see that? And it really smells good. Are you bored, Stanley? Are you bored? Yeah. And so there you go. Oops, I'm crooked. And so there you go. This is just going to sit on the counter for, however long it takes. When it's the thickness that I want, or, after 3 hours, 4 hours is probably going to be done. But I've also, depending on, what I do right or wrong, it can take 6 to 8 hours. I've known some folks that leave it overnight if they want it really tangy and really strong. It's not actually my preference, and again, if it's just Mitch and me, and if I were doing this for other folks, like, family members, friends, whatever, and I have big batches sometimes, I would be using a mason jar, not a mason jar, probably more like 6 mason jars, and I would have my turkey roaster, my electric turkey roaster, and I would do the very same thing. Fill it up with water, make sure the water is over the tops of the mason jars, and keep it at, I don't know, 120 degrees, usually for me, maybe 150. Yeah, and just let it go. And just let it go until it's done. And you can tell because you pick it up. And to pick it up, I would use this because it's going to be hot. I would not use my fingers. And it's that simple. And when they're all done, when this is done, I'll put this in the fridge. But if I had the jars, I'd put those in the fridge. Or send them out, give them away, whatever I was going to do with them. And that's it. Oops. So can you see that? That is going to coddle, pardon me, I'm in my own light. That is going to coddle that yogurt. And all I have to do now is plug it in and just let it do its thing. It'll probably... That cannot be comfortable. That just cannot be comfortable. Oh, well, hello. So I want to show you guys how the yogurt came out. It has been just a little over 5 hours, like 5 hours and 10 minutes. So I want to show you the end result. Cover off. Oh, look at that. Oh, somebody's been into the edge of it. Check this out. See that? Beautiful stuff. And out of this, I will just take my starter for the next batch and put this right in the refrigerator. And this will last us probably a week or so, maybe 2 weeks. Not sure how long. He goes through it pretty quickly. But anyway, that's it. And I'll put the whole container right in the refrigerator. Not this, but this. Easy. If you have any questions, put it in the comment below.